I didn't. It's like 100 degrees here, so I thought not a good idea.
Oh, it's like 100 degrees here too. I know. All right, so we are live. This is so exciting because it's been like forever, I feel like.
I know. I feel like this is like a pre-party. Like we have to have a real re-entry.
I know, but I'm excited because our first guest for the relaunch pre-party, whatever, is super exciting. So it's going to be a fun one tonight. So everybody, if you don't know who I am Dana.
I'm her sister. Did you say the girl on the phone?
And because you picked up your phone.
Oh, well, sorry. I was giving the link to somebody.
Oh, her name is Jamie. And we're so glad that you're here tonight for once again our Thursday nights live in the lounge. We appreciate that you guys take the time out of your busy schedules to carve out,
27 minutes.
Yeah, chat with us, and so that we can introduce you to movers and shakers that we've met and love, to hopefully motivate and inspire you guys. So, Jane, what have you been doing?
Oh my God, so busy. The summer, I can't believe it's over. The most significant thing I've been doing is preparing for my daughter to go to college for her first year. I think you know, because she did a show for us.
Yes, she did, about preparing yourself for college.
She didn't talk about how you prepare your mother for college.
Well, now she could talk about it after the fact, I think.
She was really cute. I started getting emotional, like as we pulled up to her dorm, and she said, "We need to take a picture of you. We need to document everything that happens today."
Aw, that's so sweet. So we have people coming on. If you're there, say hi. Thank you so much, everyone that's saying hi. Be sure to ask questions. If you have any, just put them in the comments, and we will be sure to answer them as we go along. I know. So she's in college. It's so crazy.
I know, and she's on some special field trip, so I can't even see how it's going till tomorrow.
No, that's good. You guys, that's good though. I know. Summer's been status quo here. It's been baseball. Now we're back to school, and every day I get the email. I just wanted to know that 14 people have been tested positive for COVID in your school. I'm like, that's great.
And so are they tracing, and then people have to?
Yeah, they're doing contact tracing, and you get a second email if your child is actually exposed to it. So knock on wood, they have not yet, although they did have COVID when they were in January. So I don't know if that means anything, but I don't know. But so we're going to spice it up and make it a little bit happier than talking about COVID, because we are going to introduce the infamous, well, I think she's infamous, and you guys will think so as well, Dr. Sue, or Sue. She is a mover and a shaker. She's been doing some pivoting that has aligned with our show, which is, I'm sure that's not the reason why she's pivoted, but it is so exciting, and I can't.
We needed content, so she did it.
Yes. So I am going to bring Sue on right now, and there she is.
Woo! Dr. Sue to you.
Yes, Dr. Sue. So, Dr. Sue, thank you so much for coming on to Live in the Lounge. We're so excited to have you as our first guest for this season.
Thank you for having me.
So exciting.
Tell everyone how you met, because I love the story.
Yeah, Sue, tell everyone how we met.
Okay, so we have a friend in common, a young lady by the name of Melanie. And Melanie has been asking me to come to these FemCity events for about 3 years, and I have strategically ignored her. And something just said to me, and because I knew I needed to do this whole pivot thing and I needed to do some networking thing, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to this FemCity event. And the first thing I thought was, I'm going to be with all of these bougie Boca women, and this is just not gonna work. I live in Boca, but I do not consider myself a bougie.
I'm pointing to Dana.
So I went to the event and everybody was wonderful. It's a really, really nice group of women who subscribe to everything that I think that women should be about in terms of hashtag women supporting women. It was really, really nice. Everybody was embracing, everybody was friendly, everybody was down to earth. And then it was 90 degrees in the shade. So it was hot. So I went to sit down by where there was breeze. And so I ended up, and then I think Dana and I had the same idea. So we both ended up sitting together. And I tend to be a pretty private person, and Dana is as well. But we just sat down, and it's almost as if the planets aligned, and we just started talking. And we realized how much we had in common in terms of the trajectory of our lives. Her life is about 18 months behind mine, in every way, shape, and form. And so we just started talking, and I kept saying to her, it's going to be okay. This is what you need to do. It's going to be okay. This is what you need to do. And I realized that the universe is never wrong, and it puts the people in your life who need to be there at that point in time. I needed to network, and Dana needed to hear what I had to say. And so we just really connected. And she said, I need to have you on my show. And I'm like, I'm happy to be there. So here I am.
Yay. Well, welcome. So happy.
Such a happy ending. So I know it was so funny. I was like, there's like 50 other women there, and Sue and I just sat in that little area and we hung out. And then people came to us and sat with us after. And then we ate some food and hung out, and it was really nice. But probably the best part of the evening was that I got to meet Sue and sit down and talk to her. And I'm super grateful. So Dr. Sue, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am, as you can probably tell from my accent, I'm an island girl. I'm from a little bit further south of here, from the island of Jamaica. And I'm going to brag because, we have the first, second, and third fastest women in the country, in the world now. So we have been kicking butt all over the world. So I came here to go to school, and I've been coming to the US since I was a little girl. So I've always had family members here. Came here to go to school and never left. I am an education professional. So I started as a teacher, and I moved from being a teacher into being a program chair, into being a dean, into being a regional vice president. So I was able to move my way all the way up to the C-suite. So I did that. I'm an author. I am a business owner. I own a consulting company. But I think the most important, I'm a daughter. To an amazing mom who doesn't remember me anymore. My mom has Alzheimer's and dementia, but she is every fiber of who I am is because of what she did and how she taught me. And then the most important thing is I'm a mom. So I just dropped my son off to college 2 weeks ago.
You did?
So I'm in the same boat with you, Jamie. Just
oh my God. What happened? I couldn't breathe for like a day.
So it's been interesting. And my son is ASD. My son is actually on the spectrum. So it has been the journey, 18 years of preparing him for this transition and watching him go out and, get his own job and, figure out how he needs to navigate his way through college. I mean, he called me on Sunday and said to me, "Oh, I'm at church." I said, "How do you get to church?" He goes, "Oh, the church is down the road. I just rode to church." Just kind of seeing that kind of independence that he has kind of developed. So that is who Dr. Sue is. She is all of those people in this little, well, I'm not little anymore, in this kind of medium-sized body.
You must be so proud that he did that. That you got him ready, right? You played such a role in that, I'm sure, as your mom did for you.
He would complain bitterly all through that. He hated having a mom who was an educator, hated it, because I explained to him that I don't like grades that have curves in them. Grades should not have curves. Grades should have straight lines at all times. Curvy grades don't make mommy happy. And so because he's on the spectrum, he actually excels in things like math and anything that's very linear based. So he did really, really well in that. I pushed him. I'm not gonna lie. I pushed him really hard in high school. to be an all-rounder. He was a district champion as a wrestler. I made sure he made National Honor Society. He did he graduated ACE diploma. I'm not a pleasant person as a mom. So, but he, when it was all said and done, and he got 2 scholarships, plus he had bright futures. When it was all done, he said to me, "I get it now, mommy. I understand why you did all of this." He goes, "I'm not worried about how I'm going to pay for school, because they lie to you and tell you that if your kids go to state school, it's cheap. It's not. It is $20,000 a year for a state school."
That's
by the time you have tuition and books and housing, and it's not. So he is proudest of the fact that he did a lot to offset the cost of college. He's really proud of that, and I am proud of the fact that he recognizes that he has to be instrumental in his own success, and that he only has himself to blame or to congratulate if things go right or wrong. Because I said to him, you're 18, son, you're on your own. I won't be there to help you make big decisions. I can sometimes help, but I said a lot of decisions you're going to make are going to be on your own. So make good ones. Yeah.
Love it. I love it. So how did you become Dr. Sue? I know now we know all the things that go into who you are.
So as I've been in education for 22 years. I just look young. So
started when you were 2.
Exactly.
So and I've always taught, I've always coached, I've always mentored, I've always written, I was a speaker, I've always been speakers at conferences, I've always done that. And one day somebody said to me, "You are a brand and you need to market your brand." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And the person that actually talked me into this is somebody who was a student of mine, and so she's social with Lulu. She's a social media coach. But when I was a faculty member at the Art Institute, she was one of my students, and so and then when she graduated, we became coworkers, and then we became friends. And then we became kind of like business partners, because we were supposed to do a huge women's conference last year, but COVID happened, so we didn't do that. But now we're friends. And for almost 2 years, she was just like, "You need to be a brand. You need to be a brand. You need to be a brand." And I slowly started. I said, "Okay, let me play with this." And I slowly started on Instagram, and I started doing little pieces. And then in 2019. A gentleman who had seen some of the videos because I used to shoot videos in my car, giving advice on leadership and women and a whole bunch of things. I was at work, and one of the directors said to me, he goes, "What's the name of your company?" And I said, "Huh?" He goes, "What's the name of your company?" And I said, "I don't have a company." He goes, "Why not?" And I thought of every excuse in the book, and he said, "Pause." He says, "The government gives you 5 years to have a hobby." And I went, "Okay." That is what triggered Dr. Sue Speaks LLC. He said that to me within 24 hours. I was a corporation.
You don't mess around.
Well, the biggest, particularly as women, but we fear failure. It is as women, we are petrified of failing. And we have to give ourselves permission that not everything we do is going to succeed, and it's okay to fail. It is perfectly okay to fail. And the story I use when I'm training people about failure is I use the iPhone. I said the first time the iPhone was launched, it was the biggest failure on the face of the earth. Steve Jobs stood on a stage and it failed. He came back. He just went back to the drawing board, something men are very good at doing. Men are very good at just ignoring failure and going back to the drawing board, and he came back. And then the anything is the most ubiquitous tool on the planet. So I had to remember it's okay if you fail, because if you fail, all you have to do is pick yourself up and move on. Right. So once I got past my own fear, I was able to start the company.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. And like Jamie said, you just jumped on it. You didn't waste any time, which a lot of people, they drag their feet. I don't know what my logo is going to be. I don't know. Things you're like, nope, I feel it.
Just do it.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I had no logo for almost 6 months. And then my nephew is I was reaching out to Etsy. I was trying to do my own design. And then I reached out to my nephew, who is a graphic designer. And I said, "Could you do a logo for me?" And I told him what I wanted. And I said to him, I want an avatar. And he started creating the avatar, and I have a gap. And so he created the avatar with my smile. And I was like, and I said, that's it.
That's your brand.
I said, that's the brand. I said, that's it. And everybody who sees it goes, oh my God, it's your teeth. And I'm like, So everything was in pieces, I had no marketing collateral. I didn't have a business card till 2020. So I've been slowly growing the business. Every time I need something, I go create something. You do it slowly, it sounds bad, but you fake it till you make it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think another thing like that kind of ties back to what you said about women not wanting to fail, also feeling like everything has to be perfect.
Yes.
And so like if you waited for all those things, you wouldn't be where you are now, right? And just having the permission to someone giving that to you.
And and for the ladies who are listening, one of the things that I try to tell women is people look at other women and think that woman has it all together. We don't. None of us have it all together. We're all just trying to figure it out. And so we all just need to kind of support each other. I may understand a little bit more than somebody else. And so I really do. In my opinion, because I'm an educator, I feel I have an obligation to reach back and pull somebody with me. And so I think if all of us just do that, then we will move together. If everybody just understands, meet whomever, wherever they are, and then help them to just get to the next place. Because I am where I am because a boatload of women just showed up in my life when I needed it. Like systematically, it's like the universe, God, Yahweh, Vishnu, whoever is the entity that you think is a supreme being, he or she kept showing up and kept saying, every time I was at a point in my life where I was at a roadblock, somebody would show up and say, here's what you need to do, which is how Dana and I met. Because when I started talking to Dana, she goes, I needed to hear that. So I showed up for her because that's what she needed. The universe recognized what she needed. So I had to show up and give her what she needed, and so that she could move on with her life. And you don't have to be a lifelong friend, to help somebody along the road. You just need to show up when that person needs you, give whatever gift it is that you need to give, and then move along your way.
I'm not letting you go that fast, though. Sorry.
You're signed up for a lifetime deal here.
Yeah, you got two. You got me and my sister now. So
lunch tomorrow.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited. Okay, we'll go to that later. But so you have described a bunch of the challenges that you overcame when you decided, that's it, I'm Dr. Sue. This is what I'm going to do. You took things in stride, which I think is a great lesson to be learned, because as Jamie said, and I'm the perfect example, I'm like, everything has to be perfect. I have to have a logo. I have to have a business card. I have to have this. I have to have that. When all actuality, all you need is just yourself and to move forward and take things in stride. What I'm super excited to hear about is, behind the scenes, we were talking, you recently pivoted, and I would love for you to explain so that we can celebrate with you.
So last year with COVID, I shot a lot of videos where I talked about the pivot, and I was talking about the pivot in terms of how many people had to pivot their businesses. So if you were a baker, you couldn't bake the same way that you did anymore. All of us had to change the way we did things. And I didn't really understand how I was going to pivot my business. And I still don't quite know how I'm going to pivot my business, because my strong suit is standing in front of a room of people and delivering training. That is where I excel. I know what I'm good at. Am I good at doing this? Yes. But there is something powerful, and if anybody who is a teacher or a trainer will tell you, there's something powerful and palpable about standing in front of a group of people and feeling that energy coming back at you. You feed off that energy and you get better at delivering, and then people give you their ideas, and you build a camaraderie in the room. That is what I enjoy doing. Well, I'm really not comfortable doing that in a room of 200 unvaccinated people at this point. So how do I do that? So I was still trying to figure out how I do that pivot. So there was that piece, because I've always operated in two realms. There's my business, and then there's my career. So in my career, I was a vice president of academic operations. And so that means that there's a lot of money and budgets and targets and KPIs and all of those operational things that, some people truly enjoy doing. I do not. I do it because it's necessary, and I've learned to be good at it, but it's not something I enjoy. And I've done that for 22 years. I've done that piece of my life for 22 years, and taught many women how to get from supervisory into C-suite. So I had already done that, and I began to realize that it was no longer fulfilling.
Right.
It no longer did it for me. So I decided to go right back to where I started. And I started as a faculty member in the classroom. And I didn't want to go back there because I have one Gen Z in my house, and I could not fathom a room of Gen Z children who do not know what Encyclopedia Britannica is and don't understand about dial-up connection. They do not understand the pain that we lived through, and I did not feel like being in a room full of them. But I knew I wanted to go back to teaching and training. I also knew that we needed really good faculty members and we needed really good teachers. So I decided that I wanted to go back into the field of training, development, and learning, and instructional design. I decided that that's what I wanted to do. So I made that decision earlier this year. Again, I'm a vice president. I make a certain kind of money. I have a son that's going to college. I ended a 19-year marriage last year. I bought a house. I got bills. So how am I going to make that pivot? So I started doing, and one of the questions you guys asked me is, how do you prepare, and how do I help other moms? So I'm going to kind of give you that answer all in one. One, do your research. Figure out what you want to do and do your research. Read, buy books, figure out who the people are, the movers and shakers are on LinkedIn. You start following them, and you just start informing and educating yourself about what it is that you're going to have to do. Because you're going to have to change your resume, you're going to have to change your entire professional profile, and somebody's going to want to charge you $3,500 to do that professionally. No shame to the people who do it professionally. God bless you. But I have hives writing anybody a check for $3,500 to write me a resume, a cover letter, and my LinkedIn profile. So I started doing a lot of research to figure out how to do that. So it was going through that entire process, and I figured out what was I going to have to do to move from being in the C-suite to actually being going back to doing what I really wanted to do, which was I do want to be a vice president again, and I want to be a vice president of learning and development, but I want to do it for a learning organization, an organization that is all about training its people, who doesn't have an HR department but has a people department. So it was understanding who I was and what was important to me now in my life, and thinking really about me. My son's off to college. I don't have to come home and cook for him anymore. He's off doing what he needs to do. I don't have to figure out whether or not I have to share my car with him because he has some activity. I can do what I want to do. I can travel. If my job says to me, I need you to be this place, let's go. So it opened up an entire world to me, and I made myself open to all the possibilities that were there. And one of the things that women always, the same thing about perfection with women. So we do not apply to a job unless we can fill every item on the job description. Ladies, any of you who are looking for a job online, don't do that. Apply. You know what? 70% of jobs that we don't apply to, that we would get, men apply to those and get the jobs because they don't care if they meet the criteria. They're going to apply for the job because they want the job. So we need to do that as well. So I just started applying I applied to a position I didn't want because I wanted my foot in the door in that organization. Mm-hmm. So as I was telling Dana earlier, sidebar, the company that I was working for was sold in March. So my need to pivot became even greater. I was part of the executive team. What happens to an executive team when a company is acquired?
You usually teams.
So they kept me for a couple of months, and then they allowed me to exit. But here's the great thing. Because they exited me instead of me exiting them, you get a severance package.
Yes.
You know what a severance package does? Gives you a cushion. Yeah. So I was able to stop stressing about the money because now I had cushion. So now I could really dedicate myself to looking for this job that I wanted. So I applied to this. So remember, I'm now kind of laid off from this job. So now I have all the time in the world to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. And so I applied to a job that I didn't want, but I wanted my foot in the door in the company. It worked. I got a phone call, and she said, you seem a little bit overqualified for this position. I said, well, I didn't really want that job, but I wanted to talk to somebody in the organization. And she laughed and she said, well, interestingly, there's another position that I have that I think you'd be great for. Could you come in for an interview? And I said, sure. The position was a training position. Yay. So it was a training position, but it was a local training position. When I went in and had a meeting with her, she said to me, I think you're great for the job, but there is a regional position that is also open that I think you'll be a good fit for. And I went, okay. So then the following week, I met with 3 vice presidents. No, so I met with a vice president. And she said to me, I actually want you for a national position.
Wow.
That one
Right.
thing where I said, I sent a resume for a job I didn't want. That's what it led to. In a matter of 2 weeks, I had met with a regional director all the way up to a vice president. And then I had to do a demo. And I did a demo for 3 vice presidents. Yesterday, I got a phone call. I was offered the role.
Oh my God, I have the chills.
I know. I got
So-
you again. It's amazing.
So it's the universe aligning in all the ways that the universe needs to align, because clearly you needed me to have the story for your show. So everything worked out beautifully.
It totally worked out.
But as I was telling Dana, before it was me not being afraid.
Right.
It was me saying, you have to keep, fear is false evidence appearing real. And so once you remember that and just realize that the only thing that is standing in your way is you. And we need to get out of our own way. And trust me, I struggle with this. And the fact that it has worked out so well is testimony to anybody who's listening. Just try, because what's the worst that can happen? Somebody tells you no, or they don't answer. Well, what's the best that can happen? You just might get the job.
It's worth it.
Yes,
Right.
it is. So I'm really happy. So I start in 2.5 weeks. I start on the 13th, which is interesting because 12 years ago, I took the job as the vice president at my old job on the 14th of September. And I always laughed and said that that job was my birthday gift to myself, because my birthday is the 17th of September. 12 years later, on the 13th of September, I'm taking a job. And again, it's a birthday present to myself.
Happy
Birthday.
Thank you.
That is amazing.
Yes.
I have to start thinking about what I want for my birthday. I have till May, but
Oh, Michelle said congratulations.
Hey, Michelle. Michelle and I went to high school together.
Oh. Give us some gossip on Dr. Sue. No, okay. Thank you so much for joining us, Michelle. We appreciate it. So you have a lot to be thankful for, and you have a lot going on, which is super. Dad's calling now, James. I'll call him back. Apparently, he's not watching.
he's obviously not watching.
I want to touch briefly, because I cannot believe we're already 28 minutes into this. I like I did that night at the Fem City event. I can talk to you forever. Tell us a little bit about your book.
Okay, so this is, again, here she is. So in this book came out of me discovering that my 19-year marriage was going to go on the rocks, and I needed a way to distract myself. And so I sat down one night and started writing a book. And that's not the book I started writing, but this is the book I ended up finishing. And what the book did for me was allowed me to empower myself and to work my way through the end of a marriage. Because first of all, nobody gets married to fail. And I'm a type A personality. So the fact that my marriage didn't work was a huge issue, because I'm like, I see a bunch of women out there, who are making their marriages work. What is wrong with me? And then I had to get past that. It takes 2 people to make a marriage work. And if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. Particularly if you're able to end it amicably and, with the kids, with the kids in mind. So I looked at this book, and what I said was, I need to celebrate women. So the book is about women supporting women. And I talk about how you can boss up as a woman. No, I did books require that you have a niche. So I did do it for BIPOC women, which is Black, Indigenous, women of color. So I did do that. So there's specific things in the book about my journey as a woman who's an immigrant and as a woman of color. However, the principles of what you need to do are the principles of what you need to do. So the book is a blueprint for what you need to do to take responsibility and accountability for your life, whether or not you want to be a CEO of your home, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with being the CEO of your home, or if you want to be an entrepreneur, or if you want to move all the way up to the C-suite. So I give women all of those options, and I say, here's the blueprint for what you want to do. Now, apparently, I'm going to have to write a second book about how do you do the pivot. So that's a whole this is a whole different process.
When are you coming back to talk about that?
So that's the book. It did make it to it was my publisher did there's a whole thing that publishers do, and so at one point for a week I was a bestseller. Yay! So I did manage to make it to Amazon bestseller status. But the book it's a how-to book, and it has a workbook built into it. So a lot of people do the book and then do the workbook separately, and you have to get it. I didn't. I opted to do it all in one. So as you're going through the process, you can make your notes in the book. The only thing is it makes it difficult for you to loan the book to somebody else because your notes are in the book. So everybody just has to get their own. It is available as an ebook and as a regular book as well. And if anybody buys the book and I'm somewhere, I sign books. People have mailed books to me and asked me to sign it, and I do sign books and mail them back. So yes.
Okay, so I will definitely after the show put the link to the book. It's on Amazon.
Yes,
I'll put the link to the book, and then everyone can purchase their books, and then they can get them signed. I wish I had mine for tomorrow, so you could sign it. What, Jay?
I said, then send it all. You're gonna get a lot of mail now.
You're gonna be like the mail person's gonna be like, Sue, what's going on here?
Right. And they were not happy with me because my son did all of his buying before college. So there were just like boxes stacked up every single day. So they're used to the boxes coming from me. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's good. You broke them in before the college shopping. But so I'm so sad that time has literally, like, I don't understand. We need more time. I know. It's totally like, so I am going to super quickly give you our speed questions that we ask each of our guests for them to get to know you a little bit, the inner Sue. What is your favorite beverage?
Pina colada with rum or without.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Your favorite flower?
White rose. I do know it means I love you not. It's still my favorite flower.
When you're not coaching business women, writing a book,
being a mom,
jobs, being a mom, what do you like to do?
Travel.
Okay. Where was your favorite place to travel so far?
Europe. I loved going out. I love Europe. And my favorite city is Prague.
Prague. Okay. Very cool. That's on my bucket list. I'll have to pick your brain.
I'm going to Mexico in 2 weeks. Birthday girls trip.
I didn't get the invitation. James, did you get yours?
Lost in the mail, apparently.
And what is your favorite book besides the fabulous one that you wrote?
That is hard. There's Chocolate for a Woman's Soul is a book I read when I was 29, and it still ranks up there as one of my favorite books.
Okay, that's good to know. Well, if anyone needs to find you on social, you're at Dr. Sue Speaks. Is that correct?
Yes.
So
on Insta and Facebook, and I'm actually Dr. Suzanne Morrison-Williams on LinkedIn. But those are the three places I live. I live on Facebook, I live on Insta, and I live on LinkedIn. So they can find me in any of those three places.
Perfect. So everyone, if you're looking for some motivation, some good vibes, and to learn, you definitely need to hit up Dr. Sue. We are so glad that you joined us. We're so happy. Took the time.
Thank you so much for having me. And I will see you at lunch tomorrow.
I'm so jealous.
Jim, you got
celebration.
Jamie's in Connecticut. She's a little bit far.
All right. Bye, ladies.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye.